king himself. This week we sporting the sheepskin jacket, and I got my co-host, my tag partner, All Elite Joker. Everybody, welcome home. What's going on? How's everybody doing tonight? And today we got some great things to talk about. Like, for instance, the actual acquisition of Activision by Microsoft. Game changer. The biggest game changer. We also going to have some gameplay going on in the back. Today's gameplay is going to be Devil May Cry 5, the special edition, starring Virgil, the best character in the whole damn series.
Oh, Lord.
Don't at me.
I'm at you.
Don't at me.
I'm at you.
Nero's trash.
Facts.
Dante's okay.
All right, as long as you don't badmouth Dante, I mean, I'm all right.
I can't, because let's be real. When the whole thing started, the whole franchise started off, Dante was just that dude, and then Virgil showed up, and, well, here's the end result.
I feel like you're either on one camp or the other.
Yeah, you could be on one camp or the other. It really doesn't matter, but, Papa Virgil's one of the greatest characters of all time, and there's not a damn thing we can say or do about it. I feel like it is what it is. It is what it is. But now, let's get into the big story. Microsoft's acquisition of Activision Blizzard.
$68.7 billion with a B dollars.
I want y'all to put this into a perspective, okay? Nintendo's entire network as a company, if I'm right and do the numbers, I believe is 60 billion itself. Maybe 61. Definitely fact check me on that.
Nintendo's net worth as of January 14, 2022 is $59.39 billion.
Okay.
So yeah, basically 60 billion.
Basically 60 billion. Okay. Mm-hmm. The acquisition of Activision Blizzard was more money than Nintendo's entire net worth. Okay. Let's put this in a bigger perspective. Earlier last year, I believe Microsoft had acquired ZeniMax, which is studios under the umbrella such as Bethesda, which we all know for Skyrim, Doom, any Elder Scrolls franchise, the Fallout franchise, and so on and so forth. They only got that for $7.9 billion. Again, you can fact check me if you want. I may be wrong.
What was that now?
They acquired ZeniMax Studios for $7.9 billion.
ZeniMax was. All right, ZeniMax was $7 billion.
$7 billion.
7.5 to be exact.
They paid 10 times the amount. Damn near 10 times the amount. 10 times the amount.
Well, because they spent how much? Because Bethesda was, that was ZeniMax and Bethesda. That was 7.5. And then, but I mean, you got to think about it though. Like, while it may or may not be your cup of tea, and, those of us watching cup of tea either, but I mean, it's undeniable the fact that World of Warcraft has been around since 2005, I want to say.
Yeah, 2005. And it bursted into the most impressive franchise out there. So,
because World of Warcraft, matter of fact, here, let me check something.
Ron, how you doing? Welcome to the stream, baby.
Is there? What's that?
So, Activision Blizzard. Not only we're talking World of Warcraft, we're talking Candy Crush. We're talking.
Oh, you lumping in the Bungie stuff too?
Franchise? Huh?
So, you gonna lump in the Bungie stuff too?
Activision.
All of Activision stuff.
I can't say we're gonna do the Bungie stuff because Bungie actually separated from Activision.
That's why I said I'm in Activision. I got to the point where I was talking about Bungie when I was talking about Activision every time I was talking about Bungie. So I'm trying to retrain myself not to do that anymore.
Which is understandable completely.
Well, I mean, to be fair, yeah, World of Warcraft apparently nets like 3 million.
It used to. I guarantee you that number's not going to be the same anymore.
No, that's the current earning numbers. It used to net way more.
That's because a lot of people went to, I think, Final Fantasy 14 after the whole Warcraft remastered debacle.
Yeah, because oh man, because I used to play World of Warcraft like a lot. It's one of the things me and my wife bonded on, but yeah, after all the craziness that's going on. Actually, I checked myself. It was 2006, so I apologize for that. Which we will also mention. World of Warcraft is thanks to World of Warcraft, we have one of the earliest, I guess you could call it a meme, viral video. Viral video would be a better term. With the Leroy Jenkins, man. Listen, if you don't know Leroy Jenkins, it was just one of those you had to have been there sorts of things. But it became so synonymous. Like it's been in countless TV shows, movies making reference to it, cartoons, all of that. And it's like all that came from World of Warcraft. And it's been that does feel like it's been forever.
It does. Big time.
But like
big time.
Arguably WoW is one of the biggest RPGs of all time, MMORPGs of all time. But, then you had more stuff that came after it. And I didn't start playing WoW heavily until, of course, I was an adult because, of course, it costs money. And growing up as a little hood kid, I couldn't ask my mom. And let me rephrase that. I did ask my mom and dad to let me play World of Warcraft and stuff like that. But as soon as they realized it costed money, that was a hell nah. Man, just to think of how far this game has come, like how far this game came, if you think about the original Devil May Cry.
Right?
But like,
of course, so I feel like I'm robbing the people because it's not like they're getting Dante. They're getting Virgil. All right. For those who don't know, Virgil is an amazing character. Amazing.
Hey, look, as long as you're not playing with Nero, that's all that matters.
I hated Nero. Like his introduction was pretty cool, but it's like,
yeah.
No, just throw them all away.
Yo, I saw some video from the original God of War, and I was like, man, this looked so much better in my memories.
Listen, all right, we're not gonna act like during the time we all thought PS2 had state of the art graphics.
Yo,
it was top notch.
Yo, listen.
All right.
Because I saw Metroid Prime recently again, and I was like, man, that looked so real to me way back when. But I'm like, I guess it's not anymore. Still looks great considering it came out in 2003, though. I'm just throwing that out there.
Yeah, but you know what? Nintendo's been behind on graphical fidelity for so long that what really changed?
See, but here's the thing about Nintendo. Nintendo's always had texture down like amazing. Like, I think that's probably one of the things that I always loved about Nintendo is like their textures are fantastic, even if it's in a cartoony like setting. Like the textures on their stuff has always looked amazing. Like you can pull up Star Fox Adventures and it still looks outstanding. Considering it came out 20 years ago, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, definitely considering it came out 20 years ago. But let's be real, Star Fox 64 will always be one of the greatest Star Foxes of all time.
Oh, yes.
Do a barrel roll. Try a somersault.
Well, the first Star Fox was on SNES, wasn't it?
Yes. Well, you know what? It's hard to say because my first memory of playing Star Fox was on a Game Watch that came out of a breakfast cereal.
Not the Game and Watch.
Yes, the Game and Watch.
Hey man, Game and Watch. Again, if you know, you know. But it's so man, Game and Watch. You think about those are like your OG handhelds, though. You know, like
They definitely were the OG handhelds.
even though they only had like one or two games on them, it was still fire. And then you got the, but then when that Game Boy came out, I still have my original Game Boy.
I want to say I have my original handhelds, but as a bad guy will tell you, my track record with handhelds is pretty bad.
Yeah, Ron said Nintendo has never really been about graphics. No, they haven't. But
no, they
still
definitely
their
have
games.
not.
But he said, but still their games have aged well. And in all honesty, they really have. Like, they're nothing. I mean, they're not what we have today by any stretch of the imagination. However, considering that they came out 20 plus years ago, because if you look at stuff, if you look at them, like I said, stuff like Star Fox Adventures, excuse me, like any of the Zelda games from the early 2000s all looked immaculate. I know you remember what Twilight Princess looked like.
Yeah, I do. I mean, bro, you can't even just go there. Look at a game. We can go back as 1993 with Chrono Trigger.
Oh, before its time.
Way before its time. But you know what? One of the very few mediums that actually got time travel down correctly. And very few games, very few movies can say they've done that.
How about that Skies of Arcadia, though?
That was another good one. Or an even bigger title, which was definitely a cult classic. Very underrated.
Mega Man.
No, F Mega Man. But the Seventh Saga, another Squaresoft title, which was literally the Dark Souls of RPG before there was a Soul style game.
Yeah.
That was one of those RPGs that hurt my soul.
What would have been like the first like Souls? Like
Contra. I mean, take your pick. You got Contra, you got Battletoads, Double Dragon. I'm starting to believe Konami just wanted to destroy people's soul.
Oh yeah, no, Konami always wanted to make your life hell. And it's kind of the whole point of Konami, apparently.
Wait, I died and I still won the mission? I'm okay with this.
You still trash though.
Shut up.
That's why you got B, because you're a bum.
You know, listen, that's a very bad word, okay? You know that if you call an Italian a bum, okay, it's like calling us the N-word.
My grandmother's Italian.
Yeah, I guarantee you go, hey, grandma, you're a bum.
I'm not stupid. What's wrong with you? Look, bro, my grandmother's Italian and from New York. Do you want me to die?
I mean, I'm just saying, it's going to be a long. I should have bought another yellow orb. Oh boy.
Oh yeah, you're gonna die now.
Oh yeah. I'm all about that pain. All about that pain.
Pain.
Freaking but yeah, like back to what we were saying here. You know, still nasty. Look at that. But yeah, Nintendo definitely, all Nintendo's games age well. And now we come to the common era, the current era of gaming, where we have studios like once beloved top studios being acquired by others. And it's wild because with the acquisition of Activision Blizzard, that's a big game changer. Okay. As much as I hate to say it.
Oh, that's huge. I mean, it's funny because I was talking to somebody else about, I was talking to Baker about the acquisition and everything. And, you know, we really sat there and started thinking about, like, back in the day, you didn't have a whole lot of publishers, because I know that one of the things that's getting called into question is Microsoft starting a monopoly on the gaming, like game production. Game publishing. You know, what's going on? What's going on,
Dro? How's everybody going? So here's the thing. Is it a monopoly on the publishing? I don't want to say yes, because we also gotta, talk about the big elephant in the room, and that's the fact that right now, Activision kind of needed this more than anything, with them being heavily under the microscope for all the scrutiny that they've been causing for the last couple of years,
Oh yeah.
especially when it comes to somebody like Bobby Kotick.
Let's not talk about Bobby Kotick, okay? Because if we talk about Bobby Kotick, my blood pressure is going to go up, and I'm not trying to have that. But what I will say about Bobby Kotick is that he needs to go somewhere.
We're about to witness his end because it was already reported in a tweet and in an article that Phil Spencer, who well deserves this promotion, is going to be the new CEO for Microsoft Gaming, which makes him the Microsoft CEO and the new Activision Blizzard CEO. And what does that spell for Bobby Kotick? Well, we're
Bobby
about to
Kotick
witness.
needs to go somewhere.
We're about to witness the end of Bobby Kotick. In all honesty, we're literally about to finally see the fall of Bobby Kotick. He's really been the most ridiculous CEO, ridiculously overpaid, just terrible at his job. Like this, oh God, the scrutiny they've been under, the myriad issues that they had over at Activision, the poor games that they produced over the years. Like Bobby Kotick needs to go. So much licensing
the new
that
Call
they've
of
lost.
Duty was trash.
Well, we can go back further. Destiny 2, the downfall of Destiny, the Destiny franchise. What was supposed to be a 10-year franchise. We got the losing of the Marvel rights. Remember, Activision owned those. The losing of the Hasbro rights, which means no more Transformers. Again, Activision had that. They had that whole market down packed. Games like Call of Duty can now be remade in a proper manner. But for most PlayStation fans, it's going to be probably exclusive to Microsoft. Like Microsoft just changed the game here. The only way I see Sony even attempting to respond is if they attempt to buy out another terrible publisher, EA. God, EA.
Well, that's a whole nother conversation for a whole nother day.
That's a whole different episode. But
right.
With that said, it's going to be something. It's going to be something. This is a game changer. Like Phil Spencer might have just granted Xbox the win that they've so been needing for God knows how many years.
Yeah, because PlayStation's net worth, like dwarfs Xbox's to this day.
Definitely agree to that. But I'm not going to sit here and act like them acquiring some of the biggest names in the studios today didn't just put Microsoft back in the fold.
It only does if they finally change the issues in which we have. And the bigger problem that we're having right now in the gaming industry is that we're getting games that are being put out and they're 2/3, halfway
Finished.
done. Yeah. And they're like, well, we're just fixing the patch and live testing and all that other crap. Don't give me that. I'm not spending 60. Like, I don't buy games at launch anymore until after I've seen some legit, some legitimate reviews, because, take all of the stuff that we've played, like, just the stuff that you and I've played. Anthem had so much potential. Could have been something amazing. Could have destroyed Destiny and made people forget Destiny even existed. Outriders was another one. And that was Square Enix. That had their name on that one. And, you got all these big companies like EA and Square Enix and Blizzard and all these other companies that have gotten too laxed and comfortable with, the status quo and aren't putting out what they should be putting out. Because, you think back when we were younger and just back, in the early 2000s, really before like the PS3 era. So, pre like 2000, hell, I'd say like 2008, 2009, when you really started seeing stuff get live patched a lot more.
Well, the introduction of the internet, in all honesty.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's what I'm saying with like live patch of games. Like, you didn't start seeing that until the PS3, Xbox 360 era. And so, before that, a game had to be finished before you put it out. Otherwise, you were screwed. And I really wish people would just like these companies would take the time and actually finish the game, because I'm not about to buy something at launch when I know that when there's the possibility of me needing to wait, 6 months to a year for the game to get, to the point where it should have been when I bought the thing. Like I should have loaded it up and it should be at this point. Like the new Outriders, like I want to play it. I want to see what the differences are. But that's my point. Like, you and I started playing that this time last year. And they just fixed it within the last like 3 months.
Here's the irony of it all. Do you want to know what villain started this whole nonsense to begin with of unfinished titles? What villain started the whole DLC movement? What villain actually started, make a game unfinished and charge you for the finished product later? None other than Activision themselves. Activision started the season pass. It was Activision when it came to the COD franchise that started the season pass nonsense. It was Activision who started with DLC. It was Activision who started putting out bad unfinished garbage such as Destiny, because as much as people want to sit here and try to deny it, the first Destiny did not launch amazing. It was unfinished.
Neither did the
second one. Unpolished. Neither did the second one. And Activision had the nerve to sit there and charge you for expansions, which was actual parts of the game. Oh, you want to do a raid with your friends? Pay another $35. Oh, you want to buy the Taken King and actually get a full story? Buy the whole game over again.
But it's like it's going to take us as gamers to stop this cycle and this trend that we are having when it comes to, all of the stuff that you're talking about, the microtransactions, the unnecessary DLC that should be part of the game in the first place. Like case in point, right? Let's take Nintendo, for example. Last year, right before the pandemic really, the lockdown and everything started, Nintendo put out Animal Crossing New Horizons, which was, the first Animal Crossing on a console since the original, like on like a home console, since the first one on the GameCube.
Okay.
There were certain aspects of the game that kind of were missing. So like cooking, swimming, some other little things here and there that were originally part of some of the other games that weren't present in New Horizons. People made a fuss about it and they're like, hey, it's coming later. Okay, that's cool. Guess what happens?
Nintendo did this.
Yes, but here's the thing. They said, okay, yeah, the game was fine. Like the game was polished. All the stuff that it did have, it was already finished. Like there was no issues. There wasn't lag and all that other stuff. There was no, getting stuck. There wasn't goofy ass glitches like that. But you did have, but there were certain elements that were in other games. But there were elements from the other games that weren't available. However, they fixed that and added all of it in a massive patch towards the end of last year. That was free. 100% free. So they added all the stuff that was in the other games, and they added, because there's a lot that goes into development for that sort of thing. You got to get all the textures and all the other stuff. And there's hundreds and hundreds of recipes that they have for like the food and everything. And then they had to introduce the food and the farming elements and all of that kind of stuff. But they basically dropped a whole nother game's worth of content for free because it was previously on the other games. Now, they did have a paid DLC, which had a different aspect of another game, which was the Happy Home Paradise.
Mm-hmm.
So watch your health, my boy.
I know.
Excuse me. But yeah, so like you had the free DLC update, which gave you the cooking and all the farming and everything else that went with that. Good God, those tentacles take so much health. But yeah, you take the free stuff that they gave basically a whole nother game's worth of stuff. and didn't, and you didn't have to buy that Happy Home Paradise DLC to get all of this stuff, because I probably would have been, I'm not even going to say probably, I would have been pissed had I had to it's like, oh, okay, you can get all this stuff, but you have to buy the Happy Home Paradise. They
But see,
could have done that.
Nintendo has been consumer friendly for quite some time. Like I've never heard them being non-consumer friendly, except for the whole Mario 3D World, 3D All-Stars debacle. Otherwise, I can't really say anything bad about Nintendo's consumer practices because they've never really done anything crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, but I mean, that's been Nintendo's whole, that's what they've built their product off of. They built around the family friendly, user friendly, MO. Like, that's just how they've operated for so long, and it's why people trust them. But other things come with that, because I mean, they also are one of those. They are also the other company that probably is best at putting full completed games out. Because I can't. I'm sitting here thinking about it, but like anything that is a Nintendo title. Because I'm not saying all of it, because Nintendo's definitely opened up to the indie market a whole lot more in recent years, especially with the Switch. Because
they've been more indie friendly from day one. Like a lot of indie titles I've played have come off of the Switch to begin with.
Yeah, like the Switch is Nintendo's, like the first time I've seen Nintendo really, really have like a massive indie market, because they've always had indie stuff, but not nearly on the scale that Xbox and PlayStation may have. But with the Switch, they were like, all right, I guess we got to do more indie stuff. And it's worked out amazingly. Like, my wife, she loves going on a Nintendo store. Like, sometimes she'll just go on a Nintendo store and see what she can find. And she'll find some fun little stuff. Always, lower than $20. Just something fun she can pick up real quick and play. And they're always good games. Sometimes they're a little bit more, expensive than others, depending on, your price point. But all in all, Nintendo makes sure that they have quality stuff so that they're not going through all these issues like Xbox and PlayStation do with these half-ass made games.
This is also true. I mean, it's rare nowadays. You're always gonna DLCs just become too common. At the end of the day, I tell everybody the same thing. When it comes to DLC, you just can't escape it. It is what it is.
Yeah,
we've kind of just normalized it. We've tried to fight that. Well, some have, others haven't. It just comes to a point where, at the end of the day, it is what it's going to be, and it's not a problem. As far as trying to stop everybody from buying these things, in all honesty, I'll say this, and I know people might get offended by this, but kids killed the gaming market. I'm sorry. Kids kind of destroyed the whole gaming market. I know it was made for kids to begin with, but kids are kind of the downfall of gaming in general. With the amount of nonsense that gets put out there, spending millions of dollars on loot boxes and loot crates, all for just cosmetics, kids have been the downfall of gaming these past couple of years. And you add that along with the internet, and it's just like...
It's so funny, because like the video game, I've done plenty of reports and things on video games because I'm a gamer and I'm a nerd, but it's so funny because the gaming industry initially, and when I say initially, I mean like, Atari, OG Nintendo,
Genesis,
what else, that's pretty much it. Game Gear, all that kind of stuff. Pong. The gaming market originally. Hey, respect your elders, sir. It went on your home screen, didn't it?
I mean, I would have been okay with like Neo Geo, but Pong?
Hey, it went on your screen, and it was a game that made it a video game.
Jesus, Pong.
I'm just saying. But anyway, the gaming market originally was made for children, but then I feel like it was in like towards once this really started, like the late 80s, early 90s was when they were like, oh, wait, adults want to do this as well.
I
And
would
then
blame
they
Mortal
started
Kombat for that.
going, oh man, God bless Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat, the original Grand Theft Auto, Doom. Doom was mad violent for the time too, if you remember. There's a lot of
Doom, Mortal
people.
Kombat. There was a couple of things out there. Like, but I think the world was set on fire when Mortal Kombat entered the screen, and it was just gory, blood, guts, and all that nonsense all over the place. Like, nobody knew how to deal with that. And then, you take that, and then you add the introduction of adult graphic content, and you had a recipe for disaster back then. Oh, let's not forget the Grand Theft Auto debacle. Jesus.
You remember the original Grand Theft Auto was top-down view
with dots, but as soon as it went 3D, oh, forget about it.
Oh yeah, man. As soon as, what was that? I think Grand Theft Auto 3 was when they really started losing their minds, and then Vice City came out and was basically like a middle finger to everybody who had been talking smack about Grand Theft Auto and Mortal Kombat, to be honest. But it was, oh man. I remember specifically being told, do not play Grand Theft Auto. My parents didn't care about Mortal Kombat, but like Grand Theft Auto is where they drew the line. I mean, which was rightfully so. I was a children.
I didn't care. Did not care.
I didn't say I didn't play it. I'm just saying I recognize why they said not to play it. I still played it, but I recognize why I wasn't supposed to play it.
I was already exposed to everything. It's like, whatever. Like, what more could we have done, in all honesty? But, you I have no idea what that is. But, you take that, you look at it, and it's like, okay, well, with that being said, gaming stopped being for kids and started being for more towards teenagers and adults. Like, you had adults that came out of our generation that wanted to continue playing video games. Like, we saw the fun and everything. Yeah, us included, definitely us included. But, when I was younger, when I was about, 17, 18, I've seen people that were damn near 30 who were still playing. It's like, oh, wow, the elderly still play this? That's amazing. Like, I didn't see that come. I mean, pardon everybody older than me, but, it is what it is. You guys, to me, you're old.
I mean, the interesting thing about it, though, is like, if you look at like millennials, for example, because I'd say Gen X was the vanguard for the gamers, but it wasn't as prevalent as it was in the 90s and as accessible as it was in the 90s. You know what I mean? Like,
no, definitely wasn't.
I feel like the millennials are when we grew up with video games, like being a mainstream thing. It was still a niche thing for Gen X, but like millennials, it definitely, and the tail end of Gen X, it was definitely much more of a mainstay and much more of something that was just readily available and something that you saw a lot more of. Because I, to this day, remember those Crash Bandicoot commercials when he was standing outside of Nintendo. Just talking smack. And
Plumber boy. My man was literally calling out Mario. We all knew what time it was, too. Did Mario ever respond to that? No, right?
There was never a diss track back. If they did that these days, there would definitely be some kind of... That's disgusting. There would definitely be some kind of like diss track back. Like, you know how Wendy's be hitting the clapbacks? Love Wendy's clapbacks. But yeah, like, there was definitely a shift in the 90s, and it was definitely like, okay, these are here to stay, because video games originally, a lot of people didn't buy into it. They were like, oh, this is never going to last, especially when Atari had its whole issues with the overproduction of games and stuff that weren't worth a damn. And I feel like that was why we had such quality stuff come out in the 90s, because, late 70s and the 80s, Atari was king, and then, Nintendo came out. I was like, hey, we make good games. And Nintendo and arcades and stuff saved the video game industry.
I would say Mario saved it, because we're not going to forget the whole ET debacle and how that's
what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I was talking about with Atari. Like, the ET was the final straw. Like, Like I remember when they unearthed all those ET copies a couple of years back. You just got a field full of ET. First of all, that is not biodegradable. There's chips in there. What is wrong with y'all? There has to be some kind of fallout that's in the earth, but I digress. But like, yeah, the whole ET thing is what really made them go, oh, okay, so we actually have to put effort and time into this. Go figure. And you got legit good games, and then development when they started letting other people develop games, because that's when that also happened. Or rather, in-house, when they started attaching their name to stuff, and it was like, okay, this has to be quality, otherwise we're gonna look like assholes, which they did.
Right? Like too late.
But
completely too late.
But just watching the progression of video games throughout our lives has been an amazing thing, at least for me, because looking at starting with the right facts, starting with like cartridges, and if you know and you know what I'm talking about.
The quick fix, the blow into the cartridge 5 times.
Blow into the cartridge. If that didn't work, grab you a Q-tip and some rubbing alcohol.
Say like 14 Hail Marys. And pray. Damn it, Mario.
And then just thinking about like games didn't always have save options.
Oh my God. So it's like keep the game on until you beat it. Or hope they had a password system.
Yeah, like Zelda was one of the first games that had a
I would say RPGs in general. A lot of RPGs.
Virgil is awful. I mean, Virgil's alright. He ain't Nero, so
the House of Virgil is awful. Like, get out! How dare you, uncultured swines?
Where's the bathrooms? Wait, where's the bathrooms? Wait, monsters.
Oh, you know what? I think they're really talking about the house in general.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's talking about the actual house.
This is a bad design for a house.
Yeah. It's so funny. I'm like, every time in especially horror type games, there's always some kind of mansion or castle or whatever. And it's like, where are y'all finding these mansions and castles?
Resident Evil franchise.
The actual house. I mean, it makes sense. It's called Resident Evil. You have to be a resident somewhere. I'm sorry. You have to be a resident.
I mean,
it has to be a place of residence to be Resident Evil.
And proven. I need confirmed proof of residency. It needs to be confirmed. Like, I need to see proof of residency. You can't just say, I'm from Raccoon City. Yeah, where?
Couch.
The haunted part. Get out.
The haunted. Hey, I'm just saying though. Lady D was something else.
Yeah.
Thank you, Resident Evil. Thank you for that. I needed that in my life.
You know who else is probably thanking them? Pornhub.
Yeah, probably. Actually, they definitely are.
I'm pretty sure Pornhub is somewhere thinking everybody at Resident Evil.
That's where these houses are from. Yo, listen. I mean, tell you. I legit want to know where all these houses in these towns are so I can stay away from them as much as humanly possible, because there's nothing good. That was another thing. I always said, I was like, I would never want to live in New York in a fantasy, in fantasy worlds, because bad shit always happens in New York. No, I'm saying just take comic books, for example. How many times has New York been destroyed?
Here's my biggest question. Why hasn't somebody been running around with a bill? Like, hey, excuse me, you just destroyed half of New York. I'm going to need you to pay the fine here.
You going to ask the Hulk to pay for some damages?
Yeah.
By all means.
Like, my man, you're going to have to pay for that.
Yeah, he gonna pay for it with them hands crushing your ass on the street.
It's all right, because let me tell you something. At some point, Bruce Banner's going to calm down. And when he does, guess what? Lawsuit, homie.
Well, depending on which Hulk you're dealing with, because, he does eventually gain sentience at some point.
That's not even fair.
As long as you're not dealing with Joe Fixit. That's an obscure reference for any of you nerds out there.
Here's my problem with Joe Fixit. Like, what did you actually fix?
Hulk's pay. I mean, facts. Hey, man, that man Joe Fixit had Wolverine as a sidekick.
Still don't understand how that even happened.
Sidekick. Again, he's a Hulk, man.
Logan was bored.
He went by Patch.
He was just bored.
Hey, man, he had an eye patch and everything. He was cool.
Nah, he was bored. Whatever. That wasn't even the real Logan. That was Nick Fury with some animation.
At least it wasn't Shadow Claw. Or what was it, Shadow Claw or Dark Claw? Dark Claw.
You know what? I'll give you that. I'll definitely give you that.
Batverine.
But still, somebody would need to pay this bill. Like, who's going to clean up this city? I'm not cleaning this up.
That is an excellent question. Who always rebuilds the cities? Because, like, you take the
And how long
Avengers,
does it take you to do that?
Like, could you imagine, like, this right here? Like, you go outside one day, like, you wake up in the morning, it just look like this outside. You're like, where all these demons come from?
Like, when did the apocalypse start? And who acquired this? When did the acquisition of demons come in? Like, I want to know how this happened.
Like, man, I'd be so pissed if I woke up one morning and there's just like demon spawn and shit like all over the place, and it's just like
I almost wouldn't mind
that we were opening the gates of hell today.
Don't destroy my stuff.
They're gonna destroy all the stuff. That's the whole thing. They destroy things.
But why my place? And giggles.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair. You know what? You're right. The Powerpuff Girls. Speaking of the Powerpuff Girls, one of my favorite scenes, completely off topic, one of my favorite scenes in Powerpuff Girls is that scene when the professor is getting ready for his date with I'm a Good Lady, which to me was always hilarious. The fact that her name was I'm a Good Lady. Great thing. Anyway, one of my favorite scenes in that show was when he's getting ready for the date, and most people didn't even catch it, but they're getting him ready, putting his tie on, spritzing his breath or whatever. And so they're like, all right, here are your car keys, here's your wallet, here's blah, blah, blah. And then Buttercup puts her hand on this man's breast pocket and says, here's some of these, and then flies away.
Like, we knew what time it was.
Bruh. But they're like, Professor, get out there and clap them cheeks, man.
Listen, all right, give Buttercup her flowers because they were deserved. She was trying to make sure her professor got some.
Hey, man, look, Buttercup was always my favorite.
Funny, I always thought Bubbles was the biggest badass.
Nah, bro, it's all about Buttercup. Buttercup's Buttercup's the feisty one. That's the most fun. Then you got the rowdy rough boys.
Nah, we ain't gonna sit here and act like Bubbles ain't give Mojo them hands. Straight hands.
Bubbles reminds me of my wife. It's all right. She don't watch this.
Okay, good. Bad, but good.
Well, I mean, she's on other shows with me. Catch me on Wednesdays doing the AAW review with my wife. Every Wednesday night at 10 p.m. Well, 10:15.
I think I just got sucked in. What is this?
You're about to die.
Whoa! What? Okay.
Yo, my man went full Constructicon on your ass. Oh no! And then he threw you.
He spat me out, bro.
I was about to say, this man just threw you up like that. You just gonna let him do that to you?
V.
Professor
Worst
Utonium
character.
don't know how to clap. Yeah, exactly. He don't know how to clap. That's why he had to make his daughters.
Listen, in an alternate time universe, all right, Professor Utonium was clapping everything. All right. But not as Professor Utonium, as Samurai Jack.
Man, let me tell you about Samurai Jack, sir. ah, ah. Joseph says that monster just Yoshi'd him.
Turn this bloody thing off. This isn't Devil May Cry. This is Nintendo. This is Nintendo. How dare they disrespect the Drip
My
King?
man said, boom. Boy spit you out like one of Yoshi's eggs, goddamn.
Yo, on that note, we gonna end it proper. Call it a night. Thanks for tuning in. I'm your host, the Drip King, with my man All Elite Joker. Make sure you catch him Wednesday nights doing the AEW. I believe that's Rampage. No, Rampage is Friday.
Dynamite. Sir. You know what? Hush your face. Please check me and my beautiful, lovely wife, Divine Intervention, out every Wednesday, 10:15, immediately after Dynamite every Wednesday. If Dynamite's on a different day, we'll do it after that one. And yeah, please come and hang out. We also have NXT on Tuesdays and a plethora of other things that are going on throughout the week.
Expect to see the consecutive consultant everywhere this week when it comes to wrestling. So yes, he will be joining you guys as a special guest on AEW Dynamite Review. I hope Divine Intervention owns him again. That'll be a great watch.
She knows how to do nothing else.
And also stay
It's her
tuned because if I'm
thing.
right, UPRE is coming up next, right after us. So stay tuned and give them a shout out, give them a look. Shout out to my UPRE crew. With that said, I'm the Drip King. That is All Elite Joker. We love y'all. Y'all have a good night now.
Peace.
Peace.